I almost texted you at 8 a.m. and was like, "When you're around, are you awake? Let's do this."
If I was up, I would have done it. But
Oh no! Yeah.
It's Saturday.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Did you finish Drag Race?
I sure did.
Okay. Thoughts? Tea?
Okay. All right. I'm not. I don't get to choose. Also, it was really. It was like the trip. Okay, I'm gonna compare it to the triple eviction on Big Brother Canada, where
Okay.
Big Brother regular, when there's a triple eviction, they play it out, where it's like someone wins HOH, there's a veto, there's nominations, and then nominations, veto, eviction, and then they play it all over again because it's a double, and then oops, surprise, it's a triple. So they surprise them and it's a triple, but whoever won that had a household, there was 3. They nominated 3 people, and everybody in the house voted for one person to stay, and whoever got the most votes, the other 2 were ejected, instead of playing HOH and veto and then redoing a vote again, like for a third time. So I was not prepared to have them do performances and have 2 people picked to lip sync for the crown.
Yeah, they had a more than 50% chop there.
Yeah, I wanted a bloodbath, and I got none.
Oh, you wanted like one person picked from that. Is that what you're thinking?
I wanted like a full wheel spin with a head to head and like a leaderboard, and
Oh yeah.
whoever
Okay,
wins this
gotcha.
one moves on. And I'm like, uh, what are we basing these choices off of, Rue?
I mean, to be honest, does anybody like Diabetes or Angeria? I mean, I don't know. I didn't like their songs that much.
Yeah, actually.
So, I don't
And
know.
like Bosco's performance was the only thing that was super awesome about that performance was that one, they're so freaking hot, but 2, the wings were fun. But yeah, I honestly can't believe how hot she is. I'm just like, what the fuck? How is that possible?
Trans girls are sexy. They sexy.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, I don't know. Ugh.
We're gonna segue into Moon Knight. You're like just like Oscar Isaac.
Yeah. Who would the segue that took every word out of my mouth, but anyway. Welcome to the Full Volume Podcast.
Yeah.
I am G.I. Joe Lee.
And I'm Harvey Brent.
And we have a different microphone today.
No, it's just like closer to my mouth, I think.
Oh, sorry. See where your yoga mat is?
Yeah.
It looks like a microphone.
Oh. It is kind of lined up actually with where the actual microphone is. Yeah.
Yeah, there are optical illusions happening in the recording for anyone who is only listening to the audio only podcast, which apparently has jumped from like 20 people to 40 people.
Oh my god.
Exciting. Okay. I think
roll.
Yeah. We're it. We're a sensation. That's just the analytics from Apple Podcasts.
You factor in the Joe Rogan platform, and we're off to the your face. Jokesies.
That's
Kidding.
Fine. Oh, they're actually like a little bit more. Yeah. I mean, don't. I'm not like a huge fan of Neil Young, but I don't subscribe. That's what I will say. I'm not a premium member.
Oh, of Spotify, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Shh, the platform who shall not be named.
Right, sorry. The Joe Rogan co-opted platform. Sorry, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
close my door here. 1 second. For the
All
better
right. All
for
right.
the better acoustics, you know?
Oh, all right.
What I really want to do is
Mm.
get this set up in my closet because I hear closet recording is like peak, you know?
Mm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then you
It's
can't
all of
see
the. Yeah.
because it's a closet. I don't know. I want to know what it's like though to have good audio.
You actually have pretty good audio.
I always feel like my voice sounds like robotic. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's who I am. But when I listen
Maybe
to the
you're.
podcast, like what? Why does it sound so digitized?
It's because you are a robot. Okay. Okay. So
Did
it's
you
no
watch?
secret.
Yeah, did you watch episode 5 of Moon Knight?
No, I didn't. I just woke up and was like, I'm gonna wing it.
Let's talk
No,
shit.
I watched it 3 times and I watched 50 recaps.
50
Just to
recaps.
like get it straight in my head because this is the one where this episode is full Stephen Grant, Mark Spector background.
Hmm.
It's the episode that we needed, or maybe not even needed at all. But
It's
we
the episode we
maybe
needed, but did we deserve it?
I'm not sure. I still don't know.
I'm not sure.
It had juicy bits, and I'm learning that they're teasing a third alter but not showing it to us. And a third alter that is a cab driver that everybody who reads the comics is aware of,
But
but
not
that we're not
us.
seeing. But not us. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a little late. They're a little long in the tooth to introduce this third identity. But you're right. I agree. There's something still going on there, but they're I think within the context of Moon Knight the series, which as we heard is a mini series. Thank God. That means we're not going to meet this third identity. Probably, let's be honest, probably in the post-credit scene. And they're gonna be like during Thanos, they were snapped away or something. Who knows?
Yeah. And I really have a sneaking suspicion that we're gonna get some other series.
Well, yeah, like Moon Knight will definitely come back in some form. I just don't think it'll be a Moon Knight series.
Okay. Because apparently, like, the Punisher is involved in his life. So maybe he'll crop up in the Punisher now that John Bernthal is officially part of the world. Um,
Oh, is it Joe? It is Joe, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
mhm. I just like am I think you're right. Whatever. He'll come back and he'll come back in other properties now that he's
Hmm.
been introduced, and they've been telling us that he won't return for a second. Like we won't see a Moon Knight series 2. Who knows? I am
Don't
not
threaten me with
like
a good time.
right.
Yeah.
um. Also, yeah. Speaking of good times, don't threaten me with a reason to like complain because I complain so much, a lot about things that I love and hate. So
Mm. That's
doesn't matter.
that
I
is
don't discriminate.
that is fandom. How can fandom be toxic if it's based out of love?
Yeah, right? We're just here to push your buttons,
We're here to
Gamergate.
get a reaction.
Yeah. Okay. So in this episode, it left off. They were in the the institution, and they had just both run into Tuaret, our hippo goddess, and she spills the tea, lets them know that they are actually dead, and she is there to transport them into the afterlife. And this is like the most desired afterlife: the river of honey, the field of wheat,
Field of Reeds.
field of reeds.
But
Because apparently,
I was gonna say, it kind of reminds me of that Billy Joel song, River of Dream, because you're like, river of this and field of that. We'll call this the Billy Joel River of Dreams. But yeah, the field of, in which
yeah,
they actually mentioned the Field of Reeds, I think in episode 1 it was.
yeah, a small girl, or Stephen is in the gift shop
Yes.
educating, and
Yes, yes.
it's a little bit it's prophetic. We didn't catch on early on, but now we're like putting it together, and the nerds are screaming. "Oh." And these nerds are rolling their eyes though, because yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cool. So there's like little Easter eggs from the beginning that lift. Don't do heavy lifting, but are like necessary for the plot later. Ugh, yay. That's exactly the kind of like stuff that I find. I don't hate it, but today it's like it annoys me. Today it's annoying. Okay, so she is like, okay, cool, but by the time we get there, your hearts have to balance against the weight of this feather, or Ahmet will eat your souls.
Mm.
And wouldn't you know, she puts both of their hearts on the scale and they don't balance.
No,
So
no.
the episode is spent with Mark and Steven trying to balance those scales so that they may enter. I keep thinking the Elysian Fields, that is Greek mythology.
It kind of feels like a video game plot. Like this feels like a very video game subquest.
Yeah.
Oh no, we can't enter the next area. Go and balance your heart by reliving your memories of your childhood trauma. You know?
Hmm. It's
Interesting.
very like Final Fantasy 4.
Very FF4. Yes.
Yeah.
FF1V for sure.
Or like,
Or Final
it,
Fantasy Crystal Chronicles where you have to go and fight for your memories. Like it's giving
actually,
me
that's more
that.
accurate of a comparison.
It's
It's
giving me
giving me
that.
Final Fantasy.
Crystal
It's like,
Chronicles.
yeah, it's like we don't have. Here's the thing that they had though in Crystal Chronicles. They had the ability to call upon powers that we are
Mhm.
not using in this show, even though we know we are Moon Knight.
Yeah, that is a problem. So like I think we saw Moon Knight a little bit in this episode for I think a screen total of maybe 25 seconds. But I don't think Moon Knight was in episode 4 at all, just in the form of an action figure. But the show is called Moon Knight, isn't it?
It's not called Tomb
Stephen Grant.
Busters. Yeah.
Tomb Busters, yeah. That's a better reference.
Yeah. So we find out what the origin of Moon Knight and Stephen Grant are. So Stephen Grant, this is what I don't hate about this episode is that we get all kinds of origin. But like Jeff said in a text message to me, he was like, why are we getting an origin story 5 episodes in a 6 episode miniseries? Seems like a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't
Yeah.
do it before, why do it now?
Who was it? Wasn't it Michael that gave the suggestion that they should have run this asylum plot alongside what's actually happening?
Yeah.
That would have been cool, and we would have gotten an
Yeah.
origin story earlier.
Oh yes. Okay, so long story long. Stephen Grant is the creation of Mark Spector. We assume Mark Spector, who he created Stephen from a character in a movie that him and his younger brother used to watch called Tomb Busters, um, as a way to protect himself, because after an unfortunate untimely incident in their youth, his younger brother dies, and his mother blames him for his younger brother's death, becomes depressed, becomes an alcoholic, begins to beat him,
Hmm.
and he develops DID. He may have always had it, but it's becomes stronger, and he creates Stephen to protect him. Stephen is who takes over and who when Mark runs away or when Mark escapes from his mother.
Hmm.
Stephen is there because he's fearless. As the poster in his room displays, he in the face of, whatever. In the face of danger, he is fearless.
Yep.
Um it's really sad. Uh,
Hmm. Never fun to watch that stuff, but it
yeah,
gives a great reason for Steven existing.
it does. It's a really
Tragic,
oh,
very almost like a Greek tragedy in a way.
yeah. And they find out, Stephen and Mark, that they need to be honest, and they need to be honest with each other's origins. Uh,
To get those hearts
to
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 balance.
to get those hearts to balance with that other. And Mark finds out that he is in fact not, well, who knows, that he's supposed to not be the real Stephen. But who is the real Stephen at this point?
Will the real Stephen Grant please stand up? Please stand up. Sorry,
Please
that's
say
the
it.
only thing of note I had to contribute. No, like you said, it's kind of weird that we're getting this so late in the series, but I think it is helpful in giving us, more backstory into Mark, I guess, because Steven, we realize, is kind of an onset. Steven ain't real. Mark's real. So that's kind of the revelation. We always kind of figured that would be the case, but that is confirmed in this
Mm-hmm.
episode. And I think what's notable about this whole sequence of events is Oscar Isaac going back and forth between Steven and Mark. Like, his acting is prime in this
Yeah,
sequence. It's good.
it's so good.
It's really good.
It makes me sad that it's a limited miniseries.
I'm still not sad about that part, but I have to say I commend Oscar, which
Yes, I need to see him
he's
in more though.
yeah, he needs to be in everything.
Yeah. So we also get after, while intermixed with all of Mark Spector's backstory, we also get his adult backstory where he is a
Hmm.
mercenary, and it shows the events of him, how he was involved in the killing of Layla's father.
Yep.
And he actually falls on the foot of Khonshu's tomb, not
And it's
tomb, but like
yeah, yeah, not tomb. What do you call that? Like the altar,
yeah,
almost like an
uh,
altar to Khonshu.
yeah. They use the word, and I can't remember it, and it's very like Egypt 101, and I feel
Okay.
terrible for not remembering, but so he's there, and he's like, he knows what he's done. He actually like is gonna take his own life,
He's gonna off himself, yeah.
and then Khonshu talks to him and says, "Hey, girl, hey, don't do it.
Turn that
I
frown
got
upside down.
Yeah, I got something better for you." And that's when they make the decision to become one.
Yep. To be
And I'm not going to sing that Spice Girls song because it is the morning and my voice is like an octave lower in the morning.
Mhm.
I'm the Mel B in the morning.
I'm the Jerry, always.
It's raining. It's raining.
Raining men.
The temperature's rising. Union Jack sequin dress. I've seen
Oh,
it, girls and boys and aliens. Brent wears it to the club and it is spectacular.
I've worn, yeah, oh my God, the Union Jack. What I would give to wear that once.
Mhm.
Be incredible. But so, anyways, Khonshu convinces Mark Spector to be his avatar. And he's like, "You're going to be in service to me. You're going to do some things you're not going to like." And so that's how we got this inevitable partnership between Khonshu and Spector. And then I believe at that point we go back to the sand ship, which, by the way, I love a good sand boat. I love a good sand boat sequence, and that's I think one of the positives of this episode too is the set design. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's mostly CG. Obviously, I don't think they actually went out to a desert to film, but I don't care.
Yeah. It just looks neat.
It's cool.
Oh
We
my
like
goodness.
a good set design, and that's not really something we would get in the Marvel universe so far. So
No.
it's nice. I
And
like it.
it's really disturbing because the ghosts of all the people Mark Spector have killed are in the sand. And they're
Yes.
now crawling up onto the boat to
Af-
try to attack him.
yes. Yeah. So, oh,
What's the
actually,
catalyst for that?
because they convinced Taweret to let them return to the living world, and so she
Oh,
like turns course for the boat so that they can go to the gates of Osiris.
got it. Okay.
She's
Yeah.
such a sweetie, this Taweret.
Brilliant. they really Disney really knows how to like play with our emotions. They gave her giant eyes, the best hair, and fun ears.
They've got a great animation department there.
They sure do. They're like, you know what? Fuck Shrek.
This is your cutie goddess hippo now.
Yeah. Yeah. And like hippos are mean. They're
They're mean.
beastly.
They fling
But
their poop.
do
Yeah.
they really?
Yeah.
I thought that, oh.
Well, like they like poop and like their tail spins it or whatever, and it like, yeah. I think
I'm
so.
agape.
Yeah.
My mouth was wide open. The world is a schoolhouse.
The
What
world is
the
a
heck?
schoolhouse. Yeah. Hippos do a lot of, I guess, nasty pranks, I guess we can call it. Yeah.
Is the polite interpretation?
I guess nasty pranks. Yeah.
Wow. Prank stars.
Prank stars. Oh, also intercut with all of this too is a B plot
Mm,
with Dr. Harrow convincing Mark that he has to fully open up to Steven. And so that's when we get Steven taking over Mark in the asylum, which apparently is based in Chicago. And that's, I mean, it's just giving us more of that, like them being trapped in this, this asylum trap. So it's we do get a little bit more of Dr. Harrow this episode. I think it's a bit of a rehash at the end of episode 4, if I'm being totally honest. I think the only notable way that it pushes forward those scenes is because finally Steven gets to talk to Dr. Harrow in these asylum sections so that, Dr. Harrow can quote treat Mark.
yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I think we didn't mention previously, but yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like it looks it looks as though we're half correct. There's not really like a driving plot other than this is like a 6 episode origin story of Moon
Mm-hmm.
Knight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not upset, but I wish it would have been set up that way. Like I was really just looking forward to them discarding the whole like we're gonna tell you who Moon Knight is. We're just gonna put Moon Knight in your lap
Mm-hmm.
and give you uh, a super plot-driven mystery that isn't an origin story. And I was
Yeah.
really anticipating like just learning who Moon Knight is on my own, or maybe who Moon Knight is in the future. But I don't know what the hang up is. It's always like, no, we have to tell people how this person came to exist. Who
Yeah.
cares? There's literature.
Well, at least I mean, I now I kind of understand the comments about how this was supposed to be a character study, and after this episode, I'm like, okay, now I kind of see that. I guess, like, we know we got the
Yeah.
backstory and kind of see that, but the episode does end with so Mark and Steven fighting the sand monsties on board of the boat, and Steven sacrifices himself into the sand sea to allow Mark to get away, and then Steven is consumed by the sand sea. It's hard to
Sansi.
say. And then that's when the scales are balanced, and Mark finds himself in the field of reeds, which I guess is the afterlife.
It's the apparently like if there are 8 levels of hell or 8 levels of the underworld, it's like the prime level.
Which level of hell is watching Moon Knight? No, I'm kidding. That's mean. Stop it. Oh my god.
Why?
No,
Let's
this
see.
episode was, I think, one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I agree with you. Like, I don't like the placement of it, and in terms of cutting this entire series, I think it would have been cool to have this run concurrently. But I enjoyed this one actually.
Yeah. I I enjoyed it much more than the last few episodes. It just
Yeah,
seemed the most polished and the most Tourette.
yeah. It had the most
uh,
Towerette, so obviously it's great.
Yeah,
But I
and we
just
get more of her
we get
next
more of
episode.
her, and like, yeah, like, I mean, we still don't know what the hell episode 6 is going to entail, because like, how do you wrap this up? And it's like, what are we even wrapping up? Like, what are you gonna release Moon Knight from his Ushabti in the beginning of next episode, and then he's just gonna kick people's asses and that's it? Like, where are we going with this? Are they going to prevent Amit from being released? Like, okay, cool. We didn't really invest too much in Amit anyways, so
And are you giving us are you telling us that by releasing Amit, Disney Plus, Disney, Marvel, what are you telling us? Like, are you telling us that eventually we're gonna get a Yu-Gi-Oh crossover?
oh yes.
Because
Give
it's
me
like,
that.
yeah, it's like, okay, if you then that's the thing I forgot is that we're still dealing with, like, in real life, Darrow or
Arrow.
Harrow. Ethan Hawke is trying to resurrect Amit,
Yeah.
which is apparently trouble. So is that the huge is they say Moon Knight's not going to be connected, but they're already starting to connect Black Panther. They've connected Black Panther just by mention. Their field of, like, where Black Panther went is one of the
Oh,
levels of the
yeah.
underworld. She
Oh,
just
where he
mentions it briefly.
where he spoke to the like previous kings of Wakanda, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that is apparently a level of the underworld that is,
Mm-hmm.
like, canon now in this universe. So they've they've brought in parts of the other films and plopped them into here. So what's to say this whole thing with Darrow and Amit doesn't, like,
You
Moon
called him
Knight
Darrow
may
again?
Harrow.
Arrow.
I'm I'm thinking, sorry, I've been reading a lot of comics and I just see the name all the
Just
time.
remember Harrow, like Harrow, Ontario, like back home.
Oh, now I'm never gonna
You're
forget.
never gonna forget it.
Harrow, Ontario.
Yeah.
Okay. So Harrow, like, what's to say that they're not telling us, like, Agatha is getting a spinoff. What if Harrow and this whole Amit
Oh,
business is a spinoff?
I
I'm
hope not.
exhausted.
Don't
I
give me that.
already, yeah, it's like in my mind, I've already done 5 episodes of full volume, and we, like, just forget about the last few episodes and do tier lists.
So,
It's
okay,
already
but
happened.
one notable thing though about Harrow too that we forgot to mention is that as they're driving towards the gates of Osiris, we see like souls start dropping into the sand. I assume that's Harrow and Amit like prejudging people, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they're like, oh shit, we have to like turn this boat around and blah blah blah. So I think that's like that's them trying to like give us that escalated threat of in
Yeah.
a story to make it urgent. But I don't know.
It's, like,
It's
kind of working, but not
kind
really.
of, but I'm also having to use my imagination a little too much, and it's like I need visuals. I need a
Yeah.
flow chart. I don't know.
Venn diagrams, perhaps.
Venn
Just,
diagrams.
yeah.
But I don't know.
I'm
I am very curious to see where episode 6 ends. I can't really imagine this is gonna end softly. I think this is gonna be a rough landing, but we'll see. But I mean, this if I had to give this episode a rating, I would give it like 3.5 sand chips out of 5.
mm, that's a lot of sand ships.
Hmm.
But I think it's a good I think it's a good amount, and I agree. Three
Agreed.
and a half sand chips out of
Yeah.
5. Yep. Oh God. Okay, so there is this week's episode of Moon Knight. Are
Do what you want
you
with it.
right? Are you excited at all for the 6th episode, or are you just excited for it to end? Are you excited perhaps for any kind of resolution? I mean, I think at this point, if I can cut into my questioning, dear viewers, listeners, I'm just excited to see if there's any kind of resolution for anybody in the 6th episode.
It's
And
gonna
that's
be
our,
something.
yeah,
It's gonna be something. I wonder how long the episode's gonna be. I wonder if they gave it a little bit of extra length or something. I don't know.
yeah, it drops at like 6 a.m. or when I see it and it's like 2.5 hours. I'm like, oh, okay.
There we go. We got a movie. Yeah, but no, I don't know. I'm curious to see how this is going to end, for better or
Ugh,
for worse.
yeah. We're at this point, why quit?
Hmm.
All right. If you're excited, if you're exhausted, if you're happy that Willow Pill won season 14 of RuPaul's Drag Race, send us an email at fullvolumepod@gmail.com, or you can find us on social media. We're present everywhere on the Comic Book Syndicate Network at Comic Book Syndicate. Actually, we're only at Comic Book Syndicate now because we got rid of our Twitter. There's no more at Comic
Oh.
Syndicate.
Is it
Yee.
because of a certain CEO takeover recently?
Potentially, we're just going to deactivate and circle the wagons.
Hmm.
So anyway, at Comic Book Syndicate, #FullVolumePod or FVP, you can find us also. More episodes of this podcast and all of the other podcasts we do on www.comicbooksyndicate.com.
Yeah.
Or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Just search Full Volume Pod or the Comic Book Syndicate Network.
Sometimes you have to search FVP as well, I feel like, on the Joe Rogan platform. You have to search FVP.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta stop saying that word. They're gonna it's gonna
They're gonna shadow ban us.
They're not gonna shadow ban, but I feel like they're gonna like the algorithm's gonna associate us with his podcast. We don't want that.
Yeah. All these right wingers are like, wait, who are these gay kids? Talking about Moon Knight.
Oh man, I would hate that.
I would love it. Also, I don't want to
Maybe.
get doxxed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, don't dox us. Don't come to Harrow, Ontario.
Don't do it. We're not there. Sounds like we're lying.
But yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you next week. Until then, that's been Harvey Brent.
Yeah, and that's been G.I. Jolie right there. So
Yeah.
We're gonna keep it loud.
And we're gonna definitely keep it at full volume. Goodbye.
Bye.